This episode was made possible by a joint effort by the California Institute for Behavioral Health Solutions and Advocates for Human Potential, Incorporated, and funded by the California Department of Healthcare Services, Community Services Division. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Dose today with Julian Olmos and myself, Juan Jimenez. We're going to be talking about Naloxone today, which kind of connects with the previous podcast that we had, how that's curbing the overdose rates that's going on in the current opiate crisis and epidemic that is affecting across the country. So, Julian, give us a little bit more information about the Naloxone, how that's curbing and saving lives, and what is it?
Yeah. So last time we talked a little bit about how the opioid crisis has been steadily increasing over the last couple of years. And one of the more frightening things about it is that it looks like there's almost no end in sight to the massive increase, right? So one of the things that that the medical community has been working on is creating naloxone. So naloxone has existed in a couple of forms. There's an injectable, and there is an auto-injectable, and there were a couple iterations of the nasal spray. So today we're going to be focusing on the nasal spray called Narcan. So naloxone is the general term for the medication, and Narcan is the name of the actual product that we're going to be talking about. So what Narcan is, it's a little device. You hold it like this, and
we have an example right here.
Yeah. So with that, you hold it in between your hand and in your hand like this, kind of like the live long and prosper sign, and you put it in someone's nose, and you do one pump on one nostril and another pump on another nostril. This is not training. I'm just letting you know how it seems to work. But that's the way that it shows you how to do it. What Narcan does, and what is one of the more miraculous things about Narcan, is that for most like anti-overdose types of medication, like let's say anti-overdose medication or counter overdose medication for like benzodiazepines or something, there's actually a huge like negative side effect. Like you'll feel like you have the flu, you'll feel sick. The medication will actually like be a little bit harmful for you, but it will save your life if you're overdosing from benzodiazepines. One of the amazing things about Narcan, about naloxone, is that none of those things happen with Narcan. If someone is just like overdosing on, or if someone is just taking a nap on the couch and you think that they're overdosing, so you get your Narcan nasal spray and you put it in their nose and spray it, nothing happens. They don't have any ill effects. They won't feel sick. All that'll happen is that they wake up and maybe they have a little bit of a runny nose. And so that's one of the more amazing things about naloxone.
So there's usually a question that we always get when we present this topic, even to the youth, and the question is, can you get high off of using Narcan on its own? And the answer is no. There, like Julian was talking about, there is no side effects to using Narcan, even if you're not going through an overdose to try to, get some side effects of it. There is none. So even if the individual, let's say, is given Narcan and is not going through an overdose, nothing's going to happen. There is no side effects to it. So it's definitely a miracle drug, because it's technically a drug that is able to counter the effects of opiates for the most part. And so, Julian, you were going to show us some information online to gather more information. For example, if you're looking to acquire Narcan, it doesn't require a prescription, and we have tested that by calling local providers, pharmacies, and you just ask them for Narcan, and they'll usually give you the price. Your insurance most likely covers it. And there's also public assistance with these medication that's found.
Yeah. So Narcan is generally pretty new,
Hmm.
or at least this form of naloxone Narcan is generally pretty new. Um, if you do happen to call a pharmacy and they say that you do need a prescription, you can just tell them that they're wrong. That you know that you don't need a prescription for naloxone, and if they could please check again. Um, if you happen to get an uneducated pharmacist. However, most of the time, if you call and you let them know, like, hey, I need naloxone, there's someone in my family who's using opiates, and I would feel more comfortable having it rather than not having
Hmm.
it, that's totally fine. They'll let you know what is the price. They'll let you know how many they have in stock and if you want to come by. Um, Most of the time, they'll also tell you what kind of like coupons or what kind of like what kind of like pharmacist sales or something like that, or if there's any way that they can like lower the price of Narcan. Also, depending on what pharmacy you go to or what agency is filling out your prescription opiates,
Hmm.
sometimes they will prescribe you a dose of Narcan with your opiates.
Yeah, we are actually seeing that more and more.
Hmm.
So,
Um,
yeah, go ahead, Julie.
yeah, so I was just gonna say, if any of the listeners or any of the watchers wanted to, you could just look up naloxone or what is naloxone, um, and go to the NIH website, the National Institute of Health, and just read up on it. Just check it out. Just see what is naloxone, what does it do, how is it saving lives. These are some of the versions that we talked about: the injectable,
Hmm.
which needs professional training; the auto injectable, which is sort of just you put it on your thigh and it actually gives you instructions with the robot voice. And the one that we're focusing on is the pre-packaged nasal spray. So all you have to do is open it. Once you open it, you put it in your hand, in between your fingers, and make sure that the pump is on your thumb so that you can put it into someone's nose, and that's how you give it to them.
Yeah,
It,
and don't let this intimidate you. You need little to no training.
yeah,
And there's also like crash courses on YouTube that you could find with actual results. There's actually videos that show the individual coming back from a respiratory arrest
yeah.
in a proper timeline. So you could see it definitely kicks in
If
almost immediately for the most part, right, Julie?
Yeah, if you guys wanted to, you can also click on the naloxone finder, and it'll take you to getnaloxonenow.org. So on this page, you guys are going to be able to see the bystander training, which is just the non-professional training, just you at your house, maybe your loved one, maybe your mom, your dad, someone is overdosing on opiates, maybe a friend is overdosing on opiates, and you have naloxone with you. You watch this video, and now you're pretty much aware of how to give someone naloxone. It
Mm.
describes a little bit of the about the opioid epidemic. It explains the risk of overdose, and it teaches you how to recognize signs of an overdose. It also demonstrates how you can respond effectively to an overdose, so you won't panic, you won't feel scared, because you'll know exactly what to do. This is for first responders. If you're like a paramedic, or if you're a police officer, or something like that, if you're in some kind of a role like that, it teaches you why you need this education, how you can provide this medication, and what are some of the things to expect. I've actually done both of these. I think they're about 20 minutes each, 20 or 30 minutes each. If you guys at home just want to do the bystander one, that's totally fine. Um, I would honestly recommend doing both, even if you're not a first responder. Just check it out. Just know what you can do, what they're supposed to do, and just look into it.
And the first responder one's just a little more thorough training, right?
Yeah,
More a little bit more detailed, and it's interesting to see their perspective and what they go through for
yeah,
training for naloxone. So again, it's a very simple device that has a life-saving effect almost immediately for someone that's going through respiratory arrest.
yeah.
Um,
So if you guys want to check out this screen that I'm looking at right now, so this is actually in the box. This is the box, and this is what it looks like when it comes out. If there's anyone that's just listening, it's just a picture of the naloxone spray. And here is a picture of how you hold it.
hmm.
So they have their index finger and their middle finger on either side of the part that actually goes into their nose, and then the thumb on the plunger. So it's not super intense to use. It's not very difficult, and it's something that can save someone's life. There's just a few more pictures on screen that I'm showing of how it works and
And
how to
yeah,
use
and
it.
then you see the aerosol effect. And then just to give a disclaimer, it's a single-use device. So once you've actually pressed the plunger, you can't retract it and use it again. That's it. It's a single throwaway device.
Yeah, I think that there are two doses in it.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
so
one
it's
package is 4 milligrams, and there's another one in there. So the box comes with technically 8 milligrams of naloxone.
and um, besides that, I mean, this is pretty much just life saving information for anyone who wants to see it. You know, it's very important that we're all aware. Even if we don't know anyone who's using opiates, or if we do know someone who's using opiates,
Hmm.
or if we know people who are using other types of drugs. Um, Something that me and Juan always talk about in our presentations is that a lot of pills are being cut with fentanyl, a lot of pills are being cut with heroin, a lot of pills are being cut with morphine, and depending on how large the dose of opiates there are and what the tolerance of the person is, I mean, they might overdose on the spot within minutes of taking whatever pill. And having this information with you, just being empowered to know that you can save someone's life with this medication, that you could save someone's life for 40, $50, that's amazing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like Julian was saying, you find yourself in that situation where you have to call first responders and you dial 911 and you tell the operator, hey, I think this individual is going through respiratory arrest because of an opiate overdose. They could definitely give you the help immediately.
Yeah,
Um, and when you're in respiratory arrest, every minute, every second counts. Uh,
yeah. I think the average response time in LA County of an ambulance is anywhere from like 5 to 8 minutes. Um, and I mean, let's say you found someone overdosed,
mhm.
and within like 2 minutes of them overdosing, so then that's already 2 minutes. Let's say you call the ambulance and you get through in 1 minute. Let's say they get on their way to you in another 5 minutes. That's 8 minutes of them getting to your door. Let's say it takes them another minute to get off of the vehicle and into your living room or something where the person is overdosed. So that's 9 minutes. And I mean, I don't know, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I think brain damage happens at about 8 minutes. So every second counts. If you can get this life saving medication to them within the first minute or 2 minutes of them having overdose, of you observing the overdose, you just saved their life. You
Correct.
just saved their brain function.
Correct. And for those that, we shall carry some type of first aid kit, consider carrying Narcan in your bag.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we explained earlier. Let's say someone is trying to get some type of physical high off of this. They can't. It doesn't do anything. It's only designed to counter and exhibit and cancel out the opiate effects. That's all it's required to do.
Yeah.
So thank
So,
you very much, everyone.
yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add, Julian?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, if you guys are looking for training or for something, go on getnaloxonenow.org. Look it up on YouTube. How does naloxone work? If you guys need help on where to find naloxone, call your local pharmacy. Tell them that you're looking for Narcan. Ask them how much it is. Ask them if there's any discounts. You have the power to do this. You have the power to save someone's life.
Perfect. So, thank you everyone for joining us. And remember, like Julian said, you do have the power to save someone's life. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Stay safe, man.